Hi everyone, so we are moving on to finding the slope from a table. So just a reminder, slope, or otherwise known as rate of change, is going to be the change in y over the change in x, or the vertical change or the horizontal change. So when we have a table, we're looking for the change in y over the change in x. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to figure out what is the change that is happening. So something that I want to talk about is, what does change mean? Well, change means what's the difference between these two numbers. So if you have to think in math, difference is another word for subtraction. So when we're trying to find the difference between two numbers, one way we can do that is to subtract or take away. So I'm going to go over our success criteria or our steps so that way we can get these two problems done. Both of these are tables, and we're going to find the slope from each of these tables. All right, so our first success criteria, or our first step, is we want to find the change or the difference in the y column, okay, or that second column, okay? Then we want to find the change or the difference in the x column, okay? And once we find that, we are going to pick 2 points or 2 rows. Okay, and then once we have that, we're going to put the change in y over the change in x. And then we want to make sure that we're being careful with our signs as we're doing that. Okay, all right, so let's start with this table here on the left. So wanting to find the change in the y column, okay? So the y column is here on the left, all right, right here. All right, so -1 to 0. So we want to know what is the change there. So we can always do subtraction. What is 0 minus -1? Well, 0 minus -1 is +1. So I'm going to put a +1 there. Then we go to the next numbers, 0 to 1. What's the change there? Well, 1 minus 0 is 1, +1. So I'll put +1. All right, so now that's step 1. Now we find the change in the x column, 0 to 3. So what's 3 minus 0? 3, +3. And what the change from 3 to 6, to do that, we would do 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 is 3, +3. All right, so now that we've done that, we want to pick 2 rows or 2 points, right? So let's go ahead and pick these first 2 rows. All right, so we get +1 and +3. So step 4, put the change in y over the change of x. So +1 over +3. And then we simplify that. Positive over positive stays positive. So 1 over 3. And that would be our slope. I do want to point out that you can pick any 2 rows and that we will still get the same answer. So for example, if I would have picked these 2 rows instead, I would have been looking at +1 and +3, which ends up being the same thing. It ends up being +1 over +3. Okay, so just so you know, one really great way to check yourself is to go to 2 different columns and make sure that you're getting the same answer. And it might not always look like the same answer right away, but after you simplify it, then it ends up being the same answer. All right, let's go ahead to this next table over here. So find the change or difference in the y column. So 4 minus 4 ends up being 0. 4 minus 4 ends up being 0. Now you're going to find the change in the x column. 5 minus 2 is positive 3. 5 minus 8, or I'm sorry, 8 minus 5, positive 3. So then I picked 2 points. Let's pick these two. So we have 0 over 3, which simplifies to 0. So remember, 0 slope means that it's not rising and it's not falling. So that means it's just a horizontal line, right? 0 slope, horizontal line.